Hello and welcome to Fifth and Grace. This is the first of two Father's Day tarot readings. So we're going to look at actually very different types of energy in both readings. This is the first one, and this is our Father's Day reflection spread. So when we talk about fathers, really, sometimes we're actually talking about the men in our life, but oftentimes we're talking about father figures or father energy, or more accurately, the masculine energy. And we all have feminine and masculine energy. We tap into them when we need them. And I'll give you a really good example. Our feminine energy is our receiving energy. It's when we lean back. It's when we're in goddess mode. It's when we relax. We take baths. We pamper ourselves. We go to brunch, we go for walks, we sit in the sunshine. Those things that are receiving, that where we're not in hustling or boss mode. It's that energy that we're in when we're tending to ourselves and just relaxing, that lean back energy. That's where we receive. So the masculine energy is where we hustle, hustle, hustle. We're bossing our way through life and everything else. And we need that energy in our life or else we get nothing done. We're just lying around on chaise lounges and, in the sunshine, talking about needing ice water or something, right? So when we're hustling, we're not in receiving energy, we're in doing energy, we're in making, creating, putting that energy out there, laying the groundwork, planting the seeds. But in the feminine energy, that's where we receive. So it's always a good idea to hustle, 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 and then take some time to lean back and just let things flow. Mothering is masculine energy. And I know that always freaks people out to hear, but it truly is masculine energy because it's very doing. You're constantly doing for other people. You're hustling all the time for other people, these little people. And it takes a little while for these little people to love you back. I did notice that as a mom. I was like, oh, when is this kid gonna love me back? So as moms, we have to love enough for ourselves and our children. So there's a lot of that masculine hustle boss energy. If you're running your family, you're in boss mode. You're not in receiving mode. So it's two very different types of energy. If this is a talk that you would like me to do, please let me know in the comments. Because I can do a much bigger video just on this topic of masculine versus feminine energy and the difference between, the boss, the badass, the goddess, like these sorts of things, and how you can tap into that into your own life. So if that's something that you want, let me know. But just for the purposes of today, I just wanted to give a little quick explanation that this is not about being a father or having a father. It's more about the energy of the masculine and the energy of the father figure. Like the King of Pentacles, that's the ultimate, that's our sugar daddy card, right? That's the ultimate like boss man, masculine energy card. The Emperor is another one, big masculine energy. So there's sort of a little bit of groundwork, spiritual groundwork for understanding this reading. And I include that for anybody who this may be all new to you. And you're like, what is she talking about? I don't have a father, right? Or whatever. Like, I love my dad. I don't have issues. Yeah, we all do. We all do. And go back to the father wound video that I posted not long ago, just last week, I believe. And so if you just scroll back a couple videos, you'll find the father wound. And we all have it. So it's a great video where I talk about what it is, how it shows up, and how we can overcome it, and how we can, quote unquote, fix it. Okay, so there you have it. That was a big, long intro. I should have been shuffling the cards while I was doing that. But if you saw my post yesterday about the bear, I survived. I have survived. My dog and I did make it home. And because there was a bear near my house. And the video, I saw a video of it. I did actually send the video to one person who follows me here because we know each other on Facebook. And they were a little concerned. So I was showing them the video of the bear just maybe 3 or 4 houses away from me. And I didn't know at the time when I was walking up the street with my little dog that the bear was a couple minutes behind me with the cops following the bear. I had no idea till I got to the end of the neighborhood and checked my Facebook, and they're like, stay in your house, there's a bear. It's like, oopsie, oopsie. So I survived the bear. This is not the first time. Back in 2020, during all the lockdowns, there was a bear in our neighborhood tearing up everybody's backyards, tore up my father-in-law's backyard. You know, I mean, I get it. The bears just want what's in your bird feeder. That's all it is. I put food out for the critters, but not bears. It's not meant for bears. So that's my little story about the bear. I may do a full video about it and include some images of the bear, but we'll see. We shall see. All right. So our first card, what is my current relationship with masculine energy? So King of Swords is always going to be about mastering our thoughts. Our thoughts are very masculine energy. So your current relationship is you're very much in your head. You're mastering your thoughts. You're working on these things. Our thoughts create our emotions. Our emotions are our feminine energy. So this is a great masculine card to come out. And it's just saying like, yeah, I'm in my head. I'm thinking things through. I'm being logical. I'm mastering my thoughts. When you master your thoughts, you have control over everything else in your life. There's that great saying, change your thoughts, change your life, or change your thoughts, change your world. It's true, because how we think of things affects how we feel about them. And I just had this conversation with a client the other day where, you know, I said that two people can have the same exact experience standing next to each other, witnessing the same thing, and have two completely different responses simply because of our thoughts that create our feelings. So, you know, somebody, and the example I used, I said, we could be standing next to each other and watch two cars crash into each other. And, you know, one of us might be saying, oh my God, it's a tragedy. And the other one might be saying, well, it's played out exactly the way it's meant to. Right. And then we started talking about the Celestine prophecy, which is a great way to kind of approach things. If you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. If this is the start of your spiritual journey, that's a great gateway drug. The Celestine prophecy. I think for many of us, that's where we got our start. So definitely you're doing great. Master your thoughts and you will master everything else in your life. That's why we have affirmations. That's why we do meditations. That's why we do tapping. That's why we do all of this, because it's about our thoughts and what we think of things. Like, how some people might think one thing is okay, other people might think it's not okay. So, you know, that's where we vary. We don't vary in how we feel. We vary in what we think. And that's always affected by how we were raised, our education, our community, our culture, our religion, everything else will affect how we think, but we're not, we're not rocks. We can change our thoughts. And that's why we do all the affirmation work and the tapping work and everything. And if you would like to do that with me, by all means, let me know. All my links are in the description, including my tip jar. There's a freebie there for you. There's a book there that I put together. There, you can find me on Facebook, join my VIP list. There's all kinds of things there. So the second question for our cards today, what wisdom have I inherited from my father or my father figure? This is a really interesting card. The Queen of Pentacles. Patience. Patience with ourselves. Patience with people around us. Patience with the process. You know, my guides are telling me, measure twice, cut once. That having the patience to do things right the first time. And they're showing me painting. So when I want to paint a room, I'm like, all right, I just want to get on with it and paint the room. Whereas my husband is like, no, we need to prep the room and tape everything and wash the walls and blah, 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 blah. So what he's saying is, you know, let's do it right the first time so the paint's not peeling off the walls. Whereas I'm like, let's just slap the paint on the walls and get on with it. And then we got other things to do. So it's that sort of thing, that the lessons that we have from our fathers or our father figures, it's usually, like more of an old school kind of thing where we're doing things methodically and with patience and with, okay, I lost what I was going to say. Sorry. But with taking the time to do things right. And I think that's a great lesson for all of us at this time in our history, because, I just saw a thing, and it was a clothespin, and the difference between a clothespin from the 60s to the ones you buy today. And there's a dramatic difference, because everything's just cheap. Everything's just from China. Everything's from the dollar store, everything, so it's, if you're going to do something, do it right. Like make something that will last. Make something that can be handed down, whatever that is. And that could be taking care of your finances. That could be taking care of your physical body, your home. Go purge your house, get everything out. But whatever patience that we have with the process and whatever it is that we're trying to achieve, that will ooze out to everybody else. Because generally the strongest energy in the room is the one that influences everybody, right? Like, we get that. So, there's a reason why groups are just such low vibrational frequency entities, because the strongest energy in a group tends to be the lowest frequency, and everybody has to pander to that and accommodate that energy in order to survive in the group. There's a lot of inauthenticity, right? So if you do the opposite of that, and you're just patient with everybody, you're patient with yourself, you're patient with the process, you will actually bring the energy of a room down to a state of calmness. I don't mean the frequency, but just everything will be calm and peaceful. So that is a great lesson from the father or the father figures. And that doesn't necessarily mean a man. It can be like, if you had a strong woman in your life who taught you all of this. There's women out there who are such badasses with their drills and their twirly saw things and all this. I know nothing about it. My neighbors across the street, 2 women, they got all the tools. I don't know how to do any of it. Nothing. That is not my realm. But like, they are strong, capable women. Those, the children in our neighborhood could see them as father figures, not consciously, but in that energy of that boss, badass energy, which is very masculine energy of getting things done. These women have renovated their house themselves. Okay. Yeah. I can't even shovel the driveway myself. So let's let's be real. And yes, they're married to each other, and we love them. And for anybody who's saying if they had a man, well, they've got men, they've got all of our husbands to help them carry the heavy things. Okay. So yeah, it's all good. We love them. And our third card, what healing or integration is needed? The Ace of Pentacles. Well, isn't that interesting? So you need to just take what you've learned and then just kind of start a new journey. Start fresh. Aces are always new beginnings, fresh starts, the starts of the journey. And our pentacles, of course, our physical life. Oh, they're saying that somebody's thinking about tending to their physical health. And so this is a good time to start that journey. Get into your masculine energy and boss up and do it. Take care of you. And then, if you start today, then today's Saturday. Then I don't even know what day it is anymore. That's how much of a blur my life is. If you start today, then in a week, and if say you're walking every day and you're doing your diet and you're cooking from scratch and you're doing all the things, you're really bossing up. That's really masculine energy. And then a week from now, next Saturday, take the day off, sit in the sunshine, just enjoy yourself, have a little treat, reward yourself, pamper yourself, and do the things that, well, actually don't do the things. That's it. Just don't do anything. Just relax, read your books, nap, rest, hydrate, all those things. And you will have integrated a lot of different things over the week. And then just rinse and repeat. Just keep doing it over and over and over. But I'm not getting a real healing message here. What's really coming in is this is more of an integration. So all the things that the father figures or the masculine energies in our life have taught us and shown us and guided us through, let's bring that into our own lives. Let's bring that wisdom in. and move forward from that. I know many of us are talking about being in our granny eras, whether we have grandchildren or not, but we're like, it's a soft era. It's that era of, cardigans and kettles and knitting and crocheting, or crocheting, as I call it. And there's a great opportunity for balance between feminine and masculine energies there, because when you're doing that sort of thing, when you're in your granny era and you're like, say, gardening, that's a masculine energy, but harvesting is a feminine energy. Do you see how there's a balance there between the two energies? So it's really great to, we're in our granny eras, and I'm guilty of it myself. I'll spend way too much time sitting knitting and listening to, fairy music and things like that. But you got to get up and do stuff and take care of the things. So just look for balance in your life between the two. If you find that you've been hustling a little too hard, it's time to take a day off, my friend. It is time. It is time to pamper yourself and tend to yourself. And you can easily Google some feminine energy activities that you can integrate into your life. Meditation, or, like I said, baths. Baths are a great one because a lot of time water is a portal. So people do a lot of receiving when they're in water. So there we have it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to click subscribe, click like, and leave a comment so I know you were here and I can welcome you to my world. I have no idea who's here watching unless you leave a comment. So I so appreciate it. And for the people who do, there are people in my life who are leaving comments all the time and are checking in all the time. And those are my supporters. And I am hosting a solstice workshop on the 20th for those people. So if you would like an invitation, you know what to do. You know the magic words now. And I'm seeing my list. I've invited quite a number of people in my list. I've got a wonderful group of people already signed up. It's going to be a very beautiful and magical time. So I hope that you join us for that. Thank you so much. And as ever, have a magical day.